All right, so before we get into the video, Sony literally just seconds ago announced there is a state of play happening on Wednesday, January 31st at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Time, and 2300 CET. I don't know what that one means, but if that's your time, there it is. State of play. Fingers crossed for a Rebirth demo. Hopefully we get that. But the real point of this video is to, well, one, go over this article that was just released also a little bit ago, talking about Square Enix discussing reimagining of iconic characters, Sephiroth and Aerith. But as I was getting things ready, I saw this. So this is sick, and I hope you guys are as excited as I am for this. I'll be watching it after I get home from work on Wednesday, because unfortunately I'll be at work at this time. Sweet timing. That's okay. I'll be on and I'll watch it and stuff when I get home, and we'll do a breakdown of what I assume will be another final close to final trailer for Rebirth. On to this article. Square Enix discusses a reimagining iconic characters Sephiroth and Aerith. This is like a Q&A for Kitase, Tetsuya Nomura, and I believe Hamaguchi's in here as well. I'm not gonna read the whole article. They just kind of talks about the history of FF7. I just want to go over the questions and the answers and stuff like that. In the upcoming FF7 Rebirth, however, we will see Sephiroth in his full glory. We asked producer Yoshinori Kitase to discuss reimagining this iconic character in the remake. The story in FF7 Rebirth starts after the team has escaped Midgar and continues all the way up to the Forgotten Capital. In the original game, Sephiroth barely appeared during this section, but in Rebirth, he is the driving force that pulls the story along to fill that void. He is depicted in even more depth than in the original game, and I think this makes him an even more charismatic and appealing antagonist than before. We asked Mr. Kitase and the creative director Tetsuya Nomura how it feels to see Sephiroth fully come to life thanks to modern game mechanics. The scene at the beginning of the game where Sephiroth joins your party and fights together with Cloud is very exciting. One of the distinctive features of this game is the new synergy system where characters team up and perform combination attacks, and seeing Cloud and Sephiroth fight together like that felt so thrilling. Nomura says the evolution of the characters wasn't a sudden mutation. We've seen gradual changes over several spin-off titles and in FF7 Remake itself, and they're evolving even further in Rebirth. Of all the characters, Sephiroth in particular has appeared in multiple different games, with each appearance adding more layers of detail, making him that much deeper as a character. In a certain sense, we are seeing this evolved and in-depth portrayal of Sephiroth as him now returning to his roots in the remake series, so naturally his presence will be much deeper and clearer than it was in the original. On the other hand, the fans have now a much greater knowledge of understanding of Sephiroth, so I hope players can see the character's appeal even more strongly. I think it's smart to give us more Sephiroth as the game goes on. One, everybody knows who he is. He's one of the most famous and well-known characters or antagonists in all of gaming, so it just makes sense for them to put him earlier on in the game and to have him like appear and push the party to where they need to go. So I'm super excited at how that plays out, but also like just having him appear much more often. Like more Sephiroth I think is good. I know that's a point of contention with a lot of people. They were very upset that we fought Sephiroth at the end of Remake. They're like, who are we gonna fight at the end of Rebirth? We can still fight Sephiroth. Maybe a different version of him. I mean, shoot, we fight 3 versions of Sephiroth in the OG game, so maybe we can fight basic Sephiroth. This is just whatever. I'm just throwing things off the top of my head right now, but we could fight the OG Sephiroth in Remake, and then in Rebirth maybe it could be like a mutated form of Sephiroth, like Bizarro Sephiroth, and in part 3 it could be safer Sephiroth instead of fighting all of them at the end in one giant battle. Or Rebirth could end after that scene that happens, the sad one. It could just end with a big boss fight being Genova Birth. I believe it's Birth. No, it's Genova Life. I'm sorry. It's the Genova that you fight after that. The slicey dicey happens. It could end there too, which I would be fine with. Pretty much more Sephiroth is fine. I don't think it affects story at all. It was Ers Fate back in '97 that is considered by many one of the most shocking and memorable moments in video game history. Kitase says Ers Fate is one of the most important themes in Rebirth's story. I really want people to play the game and feel it directly, so I will not say too much here, but when comparing this scene to how it was presented in the original, I am confident that the audience will feel a great breadth of emotion from the extra level of detail and how that character is portrayed. So that's exciting. Then it says, we asked Mr. Katase on how the development team approached balancing fans' expectation and creating a new and expanded storyline. As there are many fans of the series, I thought it was essential to keep the majority of the elements from the original game. On the other hand, if we simply follow along, keeping the story unchanged, it would only appeal to people's nostalgia. We added the whispers as a new element that could shake up the storyline and thus create a feeling of anticipation towards where things were going. I think this has already proved to be appealing to the fans. A lot of people did not like whispers. that was one of the big complaints of Remake, if I remember correctly. Personally, it didn't bother me at all. Did not affect me. They're fine where they are. I didn't see any issues with them, but that's me. I'm literally a casual. Like I just take things as they are, so that could be good and bad. But for me personally, the whispers are fine. I don't care if they stay or they go, but I know a lot of people did not like them, so it shook up something, but I don't think it's what he thinks. Here's the message Mr. Katase left for those counting days to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's premiere and finding out what fate awaits our favorite flower peddler. Whatever I say will give people a hint about what's going to happen, so this is very difficult to answer. Really, I can only say that I want players to experience what waits for them at the end of FF7 Rebirth and feel it for themselves rather than getting that secondhand. Different people will respond to it differently, but I think that they will want to pursue that feeling, whatever it is, and set out on their next journey soon. Then Katase says, I invite you all to play FF7 Rebirth and see with your own eyes how the modern generation of players will react to Ers Fate, a moment that created such an emotional impact on a huge number of gamers 27 years ago. So that's pretty much the extent of the article. It's more of a just, quick Q&A about the growth and the change of Aerith and Sephiroth from 27 years ago to today. The big thing here is talking about Sephiroth. So it says, in a certain sense, we are seeing this evolved and in-depth portrayal of Sephiroth as him now returning to his roots in a remake series. And so naturally, his presence will be much deeper and clearer than it was in the original. I'm pretty dumb here. I'm not really sure how to take this. This could just be nothing. Just take it at face value. He's just returning to his roots as being a big bad, I guess. What does it mean, returning to his roots? And why are those in quotations? What does that mean? I have no idea. If you guys know what this means, let me know down below, because the way I interpret it, I'm pretty sure is not the way it's meant to be interpreted. Unless I'm just overthinking this, which is also possible. But that's really about all there is for this article. Nothing too crazy, just kind of, like I said, talking about Aerith and Sephiroth and how they've changed. We got that article. And then, as mentioned before, Sony State of Play coming literally in 2 days. Super excited for this. Hopefully we get the Rebirth demo that everybody's been playing. And if it had multiple events, they had it recently at the London event, where apparently it was different, I think, is what I heard. It was a different, it was a different build or a different location or whatever. What I do hope for the demo is I really hope the demo is almost all of the Calm flashback tutorial area, so we can play that and just kind of get that out of the way. That way when Rebirth does drop, we don't have to do tutorial stuff. We can just jump into the game and immediately leave Calm if you've played the demo already, and that save file carries over. That's what I hope out of the demo, at least anyway. But always, thanks for watching, and I appreciate you guys sticking out to the end of the video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more Final Fantasy VII content. I will be live streaming this reaction to the State of Play when I get home from work around 10 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday, so it'll be about 5 hours after the fact. I'm going to stay off Twitter so I don't see anything, and I'm going to try to do a blind reaction. That'll be pretty difficult to do, but we're going to do it. We're going to try it. And we'll do a breakdown of, if there's a trailer, we'll do a breakdown of the trailer, breakdown frame by frame, and we'll have all that to do. All right, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Peace.